We do not have a crisis of masculinity. There are plenty of good men out there. We have a crisis of codependency, fueled by patriarchal standards that normalize codependency, which is a trauma-based way of relating. It's a broken way of relating, and it has been normalized by patriarchal standards. So the thing is, with masculinity, there are great men out there. There are healthy relationships. There are fully functional families who are thriving, who are happy, who are raising happy, well-adjusted kids. But the crisis lies in our family dynamics that are held together by codependency. Now, I'm talking in general right now, okay? So it can go either way, but the majority of what I see is women overgiving because of their trauma and their need to be liked, loved, connected, validated. The list goes on. Okay. I hear women, I've been working with women now for 5 years in private practice, and I hear women and see this all the time. I hear them say, oh, my people pleasing, right? Women are starting to become aware of that codependent way of relating. And codependency basically means because of the way that I'm programmed and the way that I was raised and what society tells me, a whole range of those factors, I need someone else to tell me or show me that I am worthy, that I am okay, that I can exist in the world. So I'm willing to sacrifice my needs to be okay. Okay, right? Codependency. So we will overgive and we will overlook another's red flags, and we will enable behavior that is not good for us, not good for the person we're enabling, and not good for our kids, or not good for anybody really. But we'll do that from a framework of our trauma. It'll be trauma-based, right? And it'll be our need to stay connected, which is a childhood need. It's a childhood wound. So what I'm seeing is a hell of a lot of women starting to wake up to this, and this is why a lot of relationships are breaking down. But the thing is, this is the basis, and it's normal. This is the basis and the foundation of relationships and family life, where women are taught that it's normal for us to sacrifice our needs, that it's normal for us to carry an unfair load, a disproportionate weight and load of responsibility, of emotional caretaking, of planning for the future, of leading, of taking direction, right? We're trained to take care of others, but we are never supposed to take care of men. And I mean that in a way, let me rephrase that. We were never meant to take care of men who are not in the same way taking care of us. So many women, so many mothers are taking care of themselves, their children, and the men in their household. And so there's a crisis at the moment where we actually have single married mothers who feel like they are single anyway, even though they're married, because they're taking care of not the 2 or 3 children that they have, but 4 with a grown man as well. And the issue is the behavior of these men and the way these men show up in the world and in relationship is a direct result of their own trauma or their own programming, and also the programming that their mothers received. And this is a generational thing. It's a generational patriarchal norm that is raising to be seen at the moment as women start to awaken and reclaim their power, as women start to wake up and say, no, this is not good for me. This is not good for my children. So the thing is, there are good men out there who believe in balance, who take care of their women, who lead their family, right? But at the same time, there are a lot of men out there who feel entitled to be the leader, but who have no discipline, no direction, and no self-regulation skills. And so we've got women out here, mothers, who are trying to regulate themselves emotionally, regulate their own emotions, deal with their kids, and also deal with the tantrums of grown adult men adding to the chaos. So the only answer to this, and this is that there, right there, is a codependent dynamic. And so that's loud as hell on the planet right now. And it's loud because it's coming up to be seen, because the truth has to be seen. We can't continue to function this way. We can't continue to repeat these patterns. Are we going to hand this down to our children? Because they will repeat what they have learned. Children will recreate what they have learned. And that's why we are, as a collective, where we are today. We've repeated in our relationship dynamics what we have learned from our parents and their parents before. That doesn't make our parents bad. Okay. But we have a responsibility now to shift it because that can't exist in the world we live in today. So if women are waking up and they're willing to do the healing work and they're willing to shift these dynamics to show our kids a better way, to model a better way, and men are not doing the same, men want to continue the cycle where their wives are miserable and exhausted and burnt out and resentful, are those relationships really going to hold up? It's interesting. There's a lot of men really doing the healing work and really leaning into this, but there's also a lot of men talking about it. And there's also a lot of women who are repeating cycles with these men and going back around and around and around. Yes, it'll get better. Yes, it'll get better. And then there's another incident or another tantrum from these men. And these women come back around to the same place. And they're too scared to leave because of the fear of judgment, because of the responsibility, feelings of guilt, fear. But at some point, you've got to recognize that things are either going to get better or they're not. And if they're not getting better by now, they're not gonna. So that's where we're at the moment in the collective energy of, the wind blew in as I spoke that, the collective energy of relationships. We're at a choice point. So women, are you going to continue to feed this version of masculinity, this version of fatherhood? Okay, because we've seen the mother rise, right? There's a lot about the great mother. There's a lot about the divine mother. There's a lot about, reclaiming motherhood, reclaiming the sacred feminine. There's a lot about femininity that we've reclaimed, but it's time now to really look at fatherhood. And, if men are not willing to put in an equal amount of commitment and work and devotion to breaking these patterns, breaking these harmful patterns of codependency, do you think those men are going to just continue to feed on feminine energy until there's nothing left of mothers? Because I tell you right now, if a mother is broken, the family is broken. So if a family is broken, like often people talk about a broken family, right? But I don't want a broken family. I come from, define a broken family, right? There are so many broken families with a mother and father at home, and it looks normal. On the outside, it looks normal. They've got the mortgage, everyone's working, the kids have got what they want, they're running around to sport, and they've got, it's just on the outside, it looks normal, right? But on the inside, that family is broken. Because dad's having tantrums and meltdowns. Mum is exhausted. Mum is begging to be seen, heard, held, cherished, listened to, treated with respect. Mum is on the edge of breakdown, right? That family is broken. And I've watched women leave those dynamics after years and years of trying and coming back to the same point every time. I'm not saying by any means just leave your husband, okay? But I've watched women and I've worked with women and I've seen it over and over again. I have watched women leave those dynamics and thrive with their children. I've watched it because they're not broken anymore. The mothers are not broken anymore. That's all I have. I feel like I needed to talk about that. There's lots coming in. Yeah, the energy feels really loaded. The wind blowing in as I spoke that really confirmed for me what's coming in now around relationships, around family dynamics. So this is something I've been visioning about for 5 years now and moving through myself. I've been through two separate, I've become a single mother twice over, right? Because I've chosen myself over and over again, right? It's been grueling and I've copped a lot of judgment. I've copped a lot of harsh words, but I won't ever, as a woman or a mother, and I say this to the women I work with all the time, I won't ever stay somewhere where I feel small, where my energy is not honored, nurtured, respected. I won't ever stay somewhere where I'm expected to give endlessly without receiving in return, in reciprocity. And I can tell you right now, I've lost myself in relationships over and over again in my life. And that's a result of childhood trauma. So when you start to heal that, and you know without a doubt that you deserve to be honored as a woman and nurtured, respected, loved, held, cherished, because we're supposed to be cherished as women. When you know that without doubt, and when you start treating yourself in that way, when you start seeing yourself as sacred and treating yourself as sacred, that is when the burnout ends. That is when good things come in. That's when we get the glow up, right? And you've only got to look at what happens when a woman leaves a relationship that is not serving her. When a woman leaves a relationship and she gets a glow up and the kids are doing great and everyone's doing great except for dad that she left, and he's not in therapy and he's falling apart while he attacks her and while everyone talks about her behind her back, the truth's in plain sight. So this is going to become glaringly obvious over the next few years. It's escalating and I'm watching it. So if you are a woman who has been caught up in, I guess, wanting to elevate the masculine or wanting to support, masculinity, healthy masculinity, but that support has come at the expense of you. If that support has come at a cost of your burnout, if that support means putting out when you don't want to, if that support means carrying the entire load and not having any of your desires even listened to, honored, or nurtured, if that comes with an expectation that you will just carry the load without receiving anything in return, no romance, no flowers, no emotional connection, no intimacy. And intimacy, I don't mean having physical relations. Intimacy, into me see. Intimacy is feeling connected, feeling seen, feeling safe, where both parties giving equal energy, equal vulnerability, equal truth, equal openness. All right. That's the foundation of the physical. If that's not happening for you, there's something really wrong. How long are you willing to stay in it? That's all I have to say. I hope this reached whoever needs to hear it. It's going to be a rough ride over the next couple of years. And we're going to need strength, particularly women, because there's a big awakening coming for masculinity. And especially men who have been conditioned over the last 5 years by cult-like mentalities, like the manosphere and conservative traditional values. Okay, because these are all patriarchal based. And let me tell you now, patriarchy is falling, and there are a lot of men out there that do not live in that world. And I can also tell you that those men are still providers. They are providers and they are protectors, and they are not running around online. They are working, building. They're out there.